Hey everybody, what's up? It's Kyle and KZ.
More people get their voice out there, then I think they'll realize like we're all the same, really.
KZ decided, let's do it. Took the bait, so here we are.
Veteran Chat Project.
Where it's encouraged to not be okay all the time.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle.
And KZ, and we're the Veteran Chat Project. Got another awesome episode tonight. One of our guests, one of our battle buddies from Heavy Company, 23 ACR. Got Cardwell in the house. Super excited to have him on. How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Good.
Chilling.
Yeah, we have one of our previous guests. We had another battle buddy of ours, Murdoch. Actually, we were talking to him, and he we brought up Red Platoon and all the guys in Red Platoon, and he mentioned your name, and so he mentioned your name, and we asked if he can get you on, and before you know it, here you are. So I'm glad. I mean, you're a busy man. I know you're a busy man. You got 19-month-old and firefighter. So we're gonna get into all that. So welcome to the show, dude. I'm glad you're here, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming.
I'm excited.
Let's get it going, dude. Let's get right into it. We like to just start out and ask you, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself and say what's up to the folks, the 6 people that listen. No, I'm just kidding. We love all 6 of you, by the way.
So yeah, man. Name's Nick Cardwell. Here from Little Hall, North Carolina. Moved to Kernersville, North Carolina. My wife's her family here, so going to stay closer to the line of work. So, we work 24 hours. Something bad would have happened. That's about it. My days off, it's daddy day full time, bro.
I know that.
Dang, dude. So the whole purpose behind the Veteran Chat Project. I don't know if you listened to other episodes, but we found that, and not to knock or diss any of these other podcasts out there. We love them, but there's all these platforms and stuff about these the special forces guys and those rangers, those hard knock dudes, and they're out there telling their stories when they get out, and how banged up they get, and all the scars they get, both visible and invisible. And me and Kyle were just sitting there, me and Turner were sitting there talking about, like, we need to do that for our guys, for those guys that joined like we did 4 years, 8 years, 2 years, 3 years, 20 years, and we just did those regular jobs,
Yeah.
And we came out scarred too. As much as I hate to admit it, sometimes we came out scarred too. And the whole purpose of this entire project is to let everyone know, like, you might not have jumped out of airplanes, but I guarantee you got the same scars as I do. You just can't see them.
Absolutely. There's always scars that is like something always.
Yeah. So Cardwell joined. When did you join the Army?
So I joined in 2009. My senior year in high school, all I did was party. Right? Party. My buddy Tyler and I, we had to go take our SATs on a Saturday, and we partied like fucking crazy Friday night. Drove hungover as shit, smoked a bowl in a parking lot, went and took our fucking SATs, and I thought the scores were still 1,400, but I guess they just changed them to 2,400. And so I got my scores back. It was 1040, and I was like, dude, yes. And he's like, no. All right.
You got 50%. Like, fuck.
I literally had no plan, and so our senior skip day was 420, and so I went to the recruiting office, and going right there, the recruiter came to my house a few weeks later, and my dad signed paperwork. I was 17, and I graduated high school. Had the summer, and then September 9th, 2009, I was kicked off Fort Knox.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, it was. I turned so like when I got to Fort Knox, I was like, "What the fuck did I get myself into?"
Yeah. That first day when they start, like, they shark attack you on the bus, and you're like, what? No. It's all worth it, though. It's all worth it.
It's, man, like that, it's if it wasn't for the Army, like there's no telling where I'd be at right now. Like straight up.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's
man.
good to hear.
I bet there's a lot of people that can honestly say the same thing. You know, it's like a huge. It's one of the common themes across the joining when you ask people, like, you know, why'd you join? Like, when you get them to get to ask the real answer, you know, it was either this or, you know, jail. A lot of times, you know, like either this or I saw myself going in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that it gives you that discipline that you need to kind of go about life, which is great. You know, you take from it what you get from it, and you know, move on and enjoy the rest of your life. So
Yep.
you did. So when we met you, you were what? You were 18 then when you showed up to Heavy Company. I didn't know that. I didn't know you were that young. I had no idea.
I will never forget when I was walking. It was me and Labyrinth. We was
Mhm.
walking to the company. Down, I remember like it was yesterday. You were to the right, right of us, and I don't know who said it. I know you did. But somebody yelled out "fresh." I was like, dude, fuck, bro.
Welcome to the jungle, baby.
But I didn't sleep at all that night. Like I was just. Oh, like, come on, bro.
Oh
But no,
shit.
That's great.
dude, yeah, but Heavy Company, man, that's the fucking best company in the Army, man.
Then
That
you
was
realize the next day you're like, yo, these dudes are actually cool as shit. Like,
Dude, I'll never forget, man. Like Hanley, he was my gunner for Sergeant Rula. I fucking was hanging out with the barracks, like that's the fight that people, you know. So, I remember like it was like my first week. I was like, I smoked spice out of the fucking sport, and then like Monday was like drug test. First fucking day, I was free, but like you know what I mean, like
that's funny how many people were smoking that shit, dude. That was just was going around huge at that time.
yeah, for sure. But and
There were
then
so
like
many different styles of that shit too. I remember like people with different gas stations were making different brands or whatever. And I won't say his name because he's still enlisted, but I remember one of our buddies up there in the barracks smoked some, dude, and he's like, I don't know, man. I was in my shower, like, shaking. Like, I was, like, about to throw up. I felt worse than I ever felt in my life. He's like, I'd never touch that shit again. And then that's when I was pretty much like, well, I'm done with it, too. Because the shit he showed me had, like, little mushroom-looking deals in it. I'm like, well, what the fuck are we smoking, dude? Like, why not just smoke weed? And then, well, guess what happens to me? I smoked weed. I got kicked out. But the writing was on the wall.
yeah. You know it. Well, I'm sure we're gonna get into that, but I just felt like the Army completely changed. Like
Oof.
once we were in Iraq, like you know what I mean. Like it just,
Especially our unit.
yeah,
I mean, it took things to the extreme.
yeah. But I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, it was yeah, to go back a little, I remember, I don't know if you remember, Carl, but I remember we're in the barracks room, or we're in the barracks, and like it was a Friday night or something, and we had planned going out somewhere, and like it was like, you going? I'm going. Are you going? I'm going. And it was like your first or second weekend, and you were just like, you were all high about like, yo, this company is the shit. Y'all are the shit. Y'all are awesome. He's like, where are you from? I was like, South Carolina. He's like, North Carolina. I was like, hell yeah.
Love this place.
We went and got shit faced somewhere. I don't know. Like it was a bunch of people from Heavy Company. It was a good time.
Probably
Because,
Storm's house.
yeah, dude,
Or his
Like-
bar.
the chick I was dating at the time, like she, I guess, was blowing up my phone like crazy, and that's when I don't remember like I woke up in the barracks the next morning. My ID's like on my fucking cat card was beside me. I was like, dude, what the fuck happened? And come
You
to
got
find
that
out,
one important piece of equipment.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
Man, he called my ex at the time, dude, and told her everything, bro. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I don't know if you remember that. I remember you were like smoking his ass, or said something. You was gonna smoke his ass for doing that, or some shit like that. Yeah, yeah, that was a good time.
yeah.
Dang, dude. Yeah, that was like that y'all's group of guys were definitely like because y'all's group of guys were the next group of guys after us, really, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
much.
yeah,
Well,
it was good to
yeah.
see. It was good to see. I mean,
Like that first batch of new blood after, well,
Yeah.
Henny had showed up and he was like the first one, like the first new private we got when we got back from Iraq after everyone had gone about their ways, and then they just slowly started coming in.
yeah.
And yeah, we started, I mean, at one point we had like 34 people in the company or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Our
it
white
was-
platoon was like me, Sergeant Plummer, and Morrison and Newmy.
Yeah, it was like it was there were more guys that I liked than guys I didn't like. There was like 2 guys maybe out of that whole crop that I was like, you're a shitbag, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, dude. And then you remember like Marino and Dunton came in like
Mm-hmm.
came out in like 3 weeks like after I did. So, yeah, that was a good time, man.
Yeah, there was a string of new guys that came in that I was wondering. Like Cardwell was the first one. He came in. I was like, why the fuck is he a tanker? He's like 7 foot tall compared to me. And then like looking at all these. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, true. That's true. Whatever. But, like everyone was coming in tall as shit, and I was like, oh my god. But yeah, it was good to have that fresh crop of new guys, and because I don't know, I felt like I could actually do something or teach something, but. Yeah, so we went. So Carl, what year was that again?
That'd be probably
2000.
09.
I was in like first week.
Oh yeah. So you came in 2009, 2010, and then we deployed shortly after
Yeah.
that. Then we went to NTC. We deployed.
Yeah.
Went to Iraq. How would you sum up Iraq for you?
Man, my personal opinion, I personally believe like our war was just fucking political. Like that's all it was. Like, and that's what I always tell people. It was just straight politics. Like,
That's
and
all
I
it
hate
was. Advise
I mean-
and assist.
yeah, the hearts and minds. I always tell people fuck their hearts and fuck their minds. Like straight up.
All that did was change the rules, man, and really put handcuffs on the way we were allowed to defend ourselves in any kind of situation.
Yeah.
So it made that deployment harder because we were terrified. Not only like if we're gonna get shot at, or like if we're even gonna be allowed to shoot back, you know, because it was preached hard. Like you know, oh, if you see them digging a roadside bomb, and they put their shovel down, they're no longer a threat. Or if you see them shooting you with an AK-47, visibly see them, but they put their AK down, they're no longer a threat.
Yeah.
But like, what's
Yeah.
to stop them from picking the AK up and getting the next batch of guys that come through? You know, that's what always bothered me, is like, why can't we just handle it?
Yeah. And dude, like, remember when it was our 4th platoon, and like they were going through that fucking IP checkpoint, and that little kid on the back had that RKG and hit the 4th Vic of that. You remember that? Hit the turret, fucked that dude up. Or, I can't remember his name. And so like a lot of us who ever
Come on.
gone, like I can't think of his damn name. He came. That's because
Green
it was
platoon.
when. It was you because you remember in Iraq we had 4 platoons. It was because Lieutenant Fall
Yeah,
just took.
that green platoon.
Yeah, it was like the route clearance, but I can't think of the dude's name. Because didn't they bring a lot of guys from the 43rd or some shit like that over?
Yeah, there was we attached. That happened both deployments too. They basically just they detached the platoon to us to be basically under us. So like they were 43rd, but they were also they were heavy company because they reported to our command at that time.
Yeah.
But they were 4th platoon, green platoon. And they usually, they got stuck on route clearance. I did talk to Cazares. He's gonna be on old Ghost Custom Art. We just got to get him confirmed on a date, but he's gonna be on soon, which I'm excited about because I don't know if you've seen, but he did a bunch of mural artwork up at Grunt Style at their like main headquarters.
No, I didn't see that.
He was one of the guys on that route clearance platoon. He's super good artist. The one I got that print right there is one of his artworks.
Okay.
In the dark.
Let's see if you can zoom in on it.
You
No.
right?
What's that?
What's that?
You still doing hoodies?
Doing what?
The hoodies, the t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
You still doing
Yeah, we're
those?
gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we our shit till next Monday, so they're still for sale till next Monday. Collect the money and then we send off the money for the order, so it's like drop shipping basically through our buddies over at Anheuser Designs. Shout out Trevor Murphy over there, waiting anxiously to print us some shirts and hoodies, dude. And I don't know if you ever wore a New Era hoodie before, but that shit is nice, dude. I bought one 3 years ago with it from a different company, and that's still like my favorite hoodie. Just the way it fits. I'm pretty particular.
Yeah.
But moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, what were you saying about that incident there with the kid?
But do you remember when they threw that grenade, that RKG, and hit the turret, right? So like, I tell people again, it goes back to politics. That's how our war was, nothing but politics. But like, a lot of the guys at the firehouse laugh. They think I'm joking, but I'm being for real. When I tell them, like, when we gunned, we would get those big ass fucking rocks and put them up there in the turret because those little fuckers would throw rocks at us. And I said, we'd sit count those little kids in the head, man, with fucking rocks. And they're like, dude, are you for real? I'm like, yeah. You don't know if that fucking kid.
Yeah, that's called returning fire.
Exactly. Shoot him so we fucking throw rocks.
He's testing his range, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's got a rock that weighs just about as much as this grenade, and he's just seeing how far he can throw it. He wants to get maximum.
My boss has said I can't throw this bullet downrange, so I'm gonna throw this rock downrange.
They say shit about the rock.
Yeah.
Or Nichols used to. Oh yeah, that boy used to fucking chuck some rocks, man. That was his favorite. Someone was riding our ass, and I just kabow because he was the the back. But anyways, yeah, dude. Sorry to keep interrupting you.
No, no.
So we had that deployment for we were gone for what, like a year. How was the year? I mean, you said it felt political to you, but overall, like when you coming back after that entire year, how did it feel for you?
Dude, like, so I'll say this. So like, I went home on R&R, I think, like in May of 2011, and before then, like, we lost Finch. December 8th, 2010? Yeah. So, like, obviously, like, we would get hit with rockets and mortars. And it seemed like it was every other day, or, like, that was, like, our alarm clock almost, it seemed like. But, I tell people, when I came back, like, when I was going back off of R&R, like, I just had this gut feeling like shit was, like, going to kick off. And I'm not saying it did, but to me, it almost feels like it did. I know y'all seen worse, but I don't know. It just seems like shit just started building up. But, after deployment, it was just kind of like, I made it, or we made it, I mean, I guess that's really it in a nutshell. I mean, that's best as I can describe.
I feel like that deployment was tough, dude. Just on the fact that, like you said, like it was super political, and that the amount of times that we got indirect fire there, bro, was insane. Like we would, literally, like, it almost just felt like, oh, we're waiting for it. Like, just waiting to die, dude. Like, I even think there was that one major that landed, like, you know, in their chew, you know, like, oh, no, I'm sorry. That was actually the deployment before. That was at Merez, I think, or Diamondback. But I always thought about that. Every time we got in direct fire, I'm like, man, this thing could just come right through my chew when I'm sleeping and I never even know it, you know?
Well, you remember
But
there was
that was just, and then that's just the thing that you can go to sleep thinking about that and just sleep like a baby still.
well, it wasn't
Now I can't, though.
I remember there was like 5 dudes from regimental headquarters troop that got hit while they were sleeping in their shoes. So, I mean, but I tell you what though, I do got a story. The very first, me and Dutton were roommates over there in the shoes. So like the very first day or the time we got in direct fire, like we woke up, dude, we were like just running all over the fucking shoes trying to find like put clothes on or something, you know. And
Tearing up.
dude, and I laugh. Dude, I swear I thought Sergeant Rules was like, bring your items like to the bunker, like bring them. So like, I run out, like I left my floor in the fucking shoe. I grabbed my pistol, no magazine. I just grabbed the pistol, and then like Dunton grabbed his M4, and we get to the shoes, and I'm like, and Sergeant Rules is like, what the fuck are y'all doing? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you gonna fucking shoot it out of the sky? Like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, oh. Fucking idiot, man. Like, I was just wow.
Like, just get there, man. Get your ass into a bunker. What are you doing?
Like, I'll never forget that. Like, I didn't even grab my fucking rifle. I grabbed the fucking 9. All right, let's go. With no fucking magazines. I was like, whatever. But you learn, man.
Yeah, I think. I mean, y'all can. I don't know if y'all can. Y'all tell me if you agree or not. But or Kyle. I feel like that deployment to me was probably the toughest deployment, just because I went on 2 other deployments after that when I went to First ID. But that second one of mine with 3rd ACR was probably the toughest for me because it was 12 months in Iraq, and it's like I mentioned this before in another podcast, but you just like we were geared up for 12 months, just like itching to fucking like I hate to be so, you know, but we're itching just to kill somebody, just because, you know, I remember
fucking tight.
I forgot,
especially white platoon.
Yeah, there was an NCO that told
strung.
me it was either first sergeant or the commander. It was senior NCO was like they were telling me like, Bowden, you know what do you know what the number one job of a tanker is? Like, what is it? Like, the number one job of a tank is to destroy the enemy. It's like, so we're here to kill the enemy with 4 tanks. That's it.
For the whole company, or for like the regiment.
and just so yeah, I think personally, I think that deployment was the toughest for me, just because I sat there every day like, all right, we're gonna go drive like 5 hours out to God knows where, and just watch this old man teach these guys how to farm, and just like be on the lookout, waiting to get shot at, and then nothing happened.
Mr. What was his name? Mr. Stickles.
Yeah,
and then, oh my god.
Nothing, and then it was like on repeat for 365 days, and you get back, and you know, and then
so what the fuck was that?
Yeah, the reaction you get from post deployment checkup is like, well, nothing happened, right? I was like, yeah, but Mom fucked up, man. I'm like, god dang.
Yeah, like it's hard to like let go of that tension that you wind up. It's like a spring that you gotta release that tension somehow. And fuck, man, like, yeah, it definitely was a little tougher, I think, just because of that aspect. Yeah, I mean, like you said, we spent a lot of time and a lot of money teaching them how to farm, teaching them how. I remember we not built, but we gave them a shitload of computers in that library. And I can't remember what platoon it was, but like someone threw a brick at somebody while they were going into the library, like towards the end of the deployment, or like once they found out we were leaving, and then there wasn't anybody they were replacing us physically, but they weren't taking over the jobs that we were leaving them. So basically, like, the projects that we worked on were getting, pulling the plug, new projects, new hearts, new minds. You guys are fucked.
Yeah.
And they were pissed, dude. And I remember, like you said, dude, it really did kind of turn up there at the end because they're like, why the fuck? Why would you just bring us all this stuff, show us all this thing, just to leave? Just to leave and never really actually, you know, you leave a lot of soldiers wondering what the hell they were there for at that point in time.
And you know,
I mean, we're escorting 1-star generals to an oil field that's ran by the Chinese that we're not even allowed to go into.
yeah. But that's like,
What the fuck was that?
you know, you remember when 6ix9ine came and replaced us? Like, for us, I don't remember any kind of contact at all when I would cook. Once we crossed the Tigris River, like, I don't remember anything. And it was like their first week there, dude. Those 2 dudes got fucking blown up and killed by an IED. Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, muted.
No,
It might be my phone, man. I don't know.
no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, that was that's tough. I remember my first deployment. I kind of had that. That kind of like that personally happened to me because we were. I think Kyle. I don't know. You already got sent off to the wash rack yet? Because I remember you were at that post. Like we were in Mosul. Like you were. Like you.
Yeah, because I was the last batch of dudes deployed, so we got tasked on wash rack.
Yeah, I don't know if you were still there yet, but it was like a month before we had to leave, and one of my buddies from basic training from Fort Knox showed up, and he's like, "Dude, how's Mosul?" I was like, "Bro, it's calm as fuck now, man. Like we rolled through here and fucked this city up." It was though. It was. I was like, "It's safe as shit," and I saw him in the DFAC.
And actually, if you're listening and you're wondering, you can actually check this. You can check the stats of the the war in Iraq, and Mosul was at 2007, 09.
Yeah.
That shit was held down very, very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, Heavy Company. A Heavy Company sent the last tank range down range in combat. So yeah, I told him, I was like, bro, it's the safest it's ever been. Like it's so calm. And then I saw him in the DFAC. I said bye to him. I was like, yeah, I'm about to get on the plane here in a couple days, dude. We landed on my birthday in Maine from Kuwait. And then somehow we found out that unit got blown up the day after we left.
Oh.
Like he was the full board colonel's driver or lieutenant colonel's driver, dude. They got blown up. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, dude.
Again, like I said, when I came back from R&R, dude, I felt like I had this, like, it was just this gut feeling. You know what I mean? Like shit was just about to turn, and then. Cop Shocker got hit. Fucking, it seemed like, I don't know. It was just getting worse and worse. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you got back, I know, where did you go after Heavy Company? Because you left after that, right? Like you left that unit, or you got orders out of that unit.
Nah. So. I hate to use the word disbanded, but everybody in Heavy Company kind of went their separate ways. So so they sent me and Marino to Eagle Troop, and we were there, and then that's when fucking it was transitioning from 3rd ACR to 3rd CR.
To 3rd CR, yeah.
Yeah. So you had.
Yeah, I got a taste of that. That's 3rd CR is the one that kicked me out, not 3rd ACR.
Dude, so. They had all these 11 Bravos coming in, man. They put me and Marino with Eagle Troop and with 3rd Tank Platoon, and that tank platoon like shrunk even more. Then they put us in HHT because they were going to train us on the MGSs for the strikers. So it just went here and then just crashed, dude. It was just, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't really have nothing left to do for tankers in that unit. It wasn't armored cav no more. The A, in case you don't know, is armored.
Yeah.
So went from 3rd Armored Cavalry Unit to 3rd Cavalry Unit, and yeah.
And
ain't no use for the tankers anymore.
Yeah, man. And it was me and 2 other guys. I can't remember who they were, but we were A capping, dude. We were getting out, and so they would go. They had ranges for the guys to go do the training and shit like that, and so they'd put us and we'd go do these FTXs, and we would sit in the fucking tents and listen to radios, and that's what we did for like the last like 3 or 4 months. So, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, I was just kind of like, dude, I'm over this shit. I'm like, and then fucking officers, dude, these butter bars coming in here, man, like they came in day one and thought they were General fucking Patton. I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like.
Right. They came in after everything's done.
Yeah.
The whole, you know what I mean? Like, all the hard shit's done, and they're like, I'm in charge now. Like, all right, Lieutenant Cox. Like, we got you.
It was like, I don't, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's what I tell people. Like, people always work, like, what was Army? Deployment Army or post-Army or post-deployment. I said, because that right there, I witnessed right there 2 different armies.
Deploy me again 100 times.
Yeah, dude. Like, before deployment.
Deploy me again.
Yeah.
4 free meals a day.
Yeah, dude.
I know what I'm doing. We got work from this time to this time. We might get to, I don't know. We might get to do something different. I don't know.
Yeah, like.
Then it turned into, let's go have a football tournament, and then like everybody's got to show up to the Chingy concert on Friday. Full accountability. Fuck off.
Dude.
Let me sit in my fucking room and be depressed.
Like,
It sucks.
It's like before deployment, like, you failed the fucking APFT, done Fat Boy P, whatever. Dude, like now, like after deployment, you failed the APFT. They're like, get your fucking ass out, dude. I'm done with you. It's like, why aren't you not helping these soldiers, man? Like, take care of your fucking people.
They are done with them.
Yeah, man. And that shit, dude, that right there is the main reason I got out of the Army, because I saw those fucking officers coming in and fucking some of the NCOs, and I was like, dude, fuck y'all, man. Like, y'all do not give a fuck about y'all soldiers. That's why I got out.
And that goes back to your direct leadership. I think you had, White and Red Platoon had its brand of like badass officers and NCOs. I mean, I think Red Platoon's NCOs were, fuck, dude, they were some of the, because I think we talked about followers before, like Kyle met.
No, actually,
Kyle,
he's gonna be on.
Yeah, he met them like when I met them, like you met the man before the rank, and that's how they treated you.
Yeah.
So so you had a great upbringing as far as like what leaders are supposed to look like, and then you see all this shit you're surrounded by. Like, no, that's not it.
And then like we had Orban come in, Lieutenant Orban. He came in and like there was no skip of a beat or anything. Like it just Lieutenant Paulinus went to 4th Platoon. Lieutenant Orban came in, and it was just like nothing even changed. Like that dude was cool as shit.
Yeah, that whole group of guys, man. Steve Orban, Billy Fallonus, Lieutenant Dan Miller. Well, shit, I think Major now or some shit. Well, John Giordano. All those officers, man. Dude, we were blessed at that time with a lot of good officers. There was a couple. We won't say their names, but we just won't give them the recognition as good officers, But yeah, we were blessed with some good leadership in that aspect, for sure. And we actually, Billy Fallonus reached out, and he's going to be on here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's him and Orban down in I think Fort Stewart. I know they're both majors right now, so I still talk to those guys, man. I'll send, I'm like, sirs or whatever, and they're like, Cardwell, don't call me fucking sir. And I'm like, Roger, sir. Like,
I will call you sir.
like, all sir, like, or like Major Orban or like Major Fallonus. That's all I know. Like, I don't even know y'all's real fucking name. You know what I mean?
One thing about Steve Orban that I always knew he was cool, and I just thought of this, dude. I was on extra duty as I was on my way out. And I think he was it was either squadron or regiment. He was squadron XO or not. He was the staff duty that night. So he's in the squadron, chilling. I think he was back in the S offices after the deployment, waiting for his next, move. And I just remember like seeing him coming in the office. He was just him. Go sit down and talk to him, And I sit down as Private Turner now and Captain at the time Orban, and I'm like, fuck, man,
Yeah.
He's like, "What's up, man? You good?" I'm like, "Not really, you know. Like I'm getting kicked out, and I don't feel like I deserve it, but you know." And he never made me feel like a dirtbag for it, you know, like everybody else did. Like pretty much 99% of the people, you know, him except for him and Billy Follows, you know, they basically just like, yeah, man, like they understood that I made a mistake, and I thought that when I went to go fess up to the mistake that I made, that they would understand that. And at the sergeant major, I walked into the scout sergeant major's office in my tanker boots, like an asshole, and the first thing he says is, "Oh, tanker boots, you're out." I'm like, whatever. But anyways, this was besides the point. Like, yeah, man, Steve Orban just you don't see leaders like that anymore. And then like you said, when you start seeing them come in, and just not caring. I mean, you also see a lot of me first leadership too, and that's the kind of shit that really steers people away from anything. Not just a fucking not just the army or like fucking any job, dude. Leadership fucking makes or breaks everything.
Dude,
you guys always had it kind of fucking chilled, and you guys were always pretty dialed in. You know, we had it pretty tight, and we were very dialed in, but it was at a cost.
yeah.
So you
I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
so once you ACAP, you went back home, right?
Yeah. Went back home. Our department's here. They have like an Explorer program, and you're 14. So what it is, like your junior firefighter. So you can do everything except go inside and fight fire. So I joined in 2005, at 14, and I done that, and I was like, dude, this is what I'm gonna fucking do when I get out of the army. So I started doing my classes and stuff like that, and then again, I fucking partied too much in high school, so joined the army. But luckily, when I got out, I was focused, like you said. Got out. I was disciplined. I mean, I was ready for it. And so I went and got finished up my firefighter classes and got my EMT cert. So I didn't, dude. I was buckling down on classes. Like EMT usually takes like 4 or 5 months, like the full program. I got that shit done in 2 months. So I was in class Monday through Friday, like 8 to 5 for EMT. Then Tuesdays and Thursdays were fire classes at night. So I'd leave EMT and go take my fire classes that night. So I was just like pouring fucking just information in my head, dude. Between firefighting,
Hustling, dude.
dude, I was.
Did the VA pay for all that stuff?
Not like if you're with the local fire department, it's kind of like you can get in. You didn't have to. They didn't pay for anything the VA did, but it was kind of one of those things you can take your classes on your own. So and the fire department paid for it. But yeah, and after that, I got hired with the fire department here, Lexington, in June of 2013. So like I got out, done classes, and like within 6 months I had a job. So it was very. I got very lucky. I was very blessed, man. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
So 2013, you've been a firefighter since 2013.
Yep.
It's 10 years now, huh? That's
Uh,
crazy, dude. So yeah, I bet you got like more, I wouldn't say issues. You probably got more stories from that than you do from our deployment.
Yeah, I mean, so
Just having
I'll never forget when I was getting out of the army. When I got out, I had the chick I was dating at the time. Like, I was gonna move down to South Carolina, like Georgetown, Myrtle Beach area, and so I was going to the VA down there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna get Charleston, in which I was going, but when I got out, going through the VA to disability, all that bullshit, like. I got a letter from the VA from San Diego. It was like, you got anxiety disorder, post-concussion syndrome, and anxiety disorder. I was like, cool, whatever. And so, like, talking to the psychiatrist or whatever down there, She was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "Well, I'm firefighting." She was like, "I don't think that's a good idea." So why the hell not? Well,
I
from what you
know. Like
anxiety
doing it.
disorder now, and then what you'll see in the fire service, I don't think that's a good combination. I'm like, well, fucking too bad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna fucking do it. So, yeah, I mean, yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, you're just like, nope,
yeah,
sorry. Uh, it's my calling. It's what I
yeah,
want to do. You know,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
awesome, dude. That's
I'm
a
glad you stuck with
Dude,
it.
I was doing it. So, I'm
What what is the? I've always wanted to ask this, and I'm glad I got a buddy to ask. What is the? Are there any similarities between the Brotherhood of the Army and what you see at the firehouse on a daily basis?
so. It's funny you say that. Like, it's hard. Like, an engine company, or like where I'm at Engine 9. So like, it that crew, it's like you're tight. Yes, like the brotherhood is there because I'm with them for 24 hours a day. Saying that, there's some crew, like, or there's some individuals who sit there and like they will talk like mad shit behind your back, and then you walk into the office and they're like, "Hey, Cardwell, hey man, what's up, dude? What's up, brother?" and all that. You know what I mean? And they're two faced. So,
just
and that,
that's people in general, bro. That
yeah,
shit's
I know,
everywhere.
but like when I joined the fire service, man, I was like, the brotherhood's gonna be like the army. Somewhat, but it's more shit talking behind each other's backs. And my thing is like, dude, if you got a fucking problem with somebody, like, what do they used to go to the fucking wood line, dude, and fucking take care of it, man. Like, the problem, like,
Either have a conversation or
dude,
don't.
and
You
it's
know.
like, don't, dude. If I want somebody, I want an officer. If I'm a piece of shit, like, I want him to be like, Carvel, you're a fucking piece of shit. Get your fucking shit together and fucking do your job. Cool. All right, Roger that. I got you. But don't fucking sit there and be like, Cardwell's a fucking piece of shit, to somebody else. And then, like, I walk into the room and, like, dude, Cardwell, what's up, buddy, man? How's this, and this? It's like, dude, don't be a fucking two-face, man. Just fucking tell me how it is. But, so, yeah, it's kind of, but not really. One
Kind of, but not
of the
really.
Marine and boys Iraq and all that. And me and him's tight. We're real tight. And we talk about this all the time, man. Leadership and the brotherhood in the fire service. It's really not the true brotherhood like we experience, man. Like heavy company, dude. Like, it's nothing like that. Unfortunately.
Well, I'm sure you got like at least like you said, one or two guys though at least that you've been close with, and I bet it's probably one of those situations where like the more you go through with somebody, the like you really kind of gotta prove yourself to people out there more than kind of in the army, because like we know what we all got. I mean, and it should be the same too, because you all know what you've been through to get to where you're at. So yeah, you would expect it to be a little more brotherly, or we wouldn't say brotherly, we would say familyhood, since I know there's women firefighters as well, so I don't want to exclude anybody. 'Cause we don't want to get canceled 10 weeks in.
But it's like my crew. Like, I got promoted last year, and so like my captain and my firefighter, man, like, we're tight, like tight. And again, it goes back to like, your crew kind of deal is how it, like, that brotherhood. You know what I mean? You get a bunch of firemen to a big ass room, and like you can just, hey, like the shit talking going on. It's like, dude, come on now, like, be a fucking man. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah.
That sucks. That's good. That's good. I mean, ever since, 'cause, I mean, I think I've had you on Facebook forever, but like watching, I think you were one of the first ones I saw that got out, and I was like, oh shit, he's already fighting fires. Okay, let's go. I think it fits your personality. I'm glad you chased that and whatnot. We so we like we. Oh yeah, it says 40. Yeah, I'm glad you got it. We and you mentioned a little bit about what the what that letter said from the VA talking about anxiety, and that's one of the big things we like to talk about on the podcast is that mental health journey. I know you're. I mean, I'm super proud that you were successful from with it like that short 6 month period. Did you yourself like experience any like drawbacks or anything like that from the military, or even with your current job like as a fireman like are there things that make you like keep you up at night and stuff like that?
So let's go back. I'm gonna rewind back to the anxiety disorder. So, uh, about 3 years ago, something like that, I got this letter in the mail. It was like I thought it was like a fraud, but luckily I called. But it was a subcontract for the VA, and they were like, "Hey, yeah, we need to come in and do a follow up kind of deal." I was like, "Cool." So I'll go in there, and she was like, "Did you get diagnosed with PTSD?" I was like, "Nah." She was like, "Well, don't fill this out." And I remember it was 16 questions and it was check boxes, right? And so I walk in there. I was probably in there for like a good 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. And she wanted to know like my life before the Army, my life during the Army, and after the Army. And so like after, the little session was done, she was like, "Are you sure you haven't got diagnosed with PTSD?" Like, no, I mean, what you know is what I know. I don't know. And she was like, "Well, this PTSD checklist," she's like, "I literally checked off like 13 of the boxes." She was like, "The VA kind of screwed you." I said, "Well, no kidding, I guess, right? It's the VA." So like they sent me to they
That's what
sent
they
me to
do.
this dude down in Charlotte, man, who like I walked into his office and the dude had like certificates and degrees from all over the fucking world, and so like he wanted to know the same thing. So I told him, he's like, "I don't understand why you didn't get diagnosed with PTSD." I was like, "Dude, again, man, what you know is what I know. I don't know." And so he sent me up, and I got a letter and all that. And so they bumped me my rate up, but you know, going back to that question you just asked, that 6 month, like my anger, and to this day, it's my anger mostly is what like just the little trigger points. Now, for the longest time, I wouldn't talk to anybody. Like I would hold everything in, and I felt like me holding it in made me more angry and more angry and more angry, and it just spiraled, man. Like just my anger, like I was like a ticking time bomb. Um, and luckily,
I know
like
that
my wife
feeling.
now, man, she's awesome. She's my fucking rock, dude. And so like she's helping me like control my anger, and my daughter is like it's like a blessing, man. Like straight up.
That's good for you. You did, and did you have a moment like during that period where you were like where I mean you said you kept it in? Was there a specific moment you remember where it just everything just kind of unleashed on one day or one night?
Dude, man, so I'll never forget, man. Um I got, I was drinking like really bad. Like I'd work 24 hours and I'd immediately like go grab a case of beer and start drinking. Like I drank like every night on my days off. And so like I remember one, I my captain at the time down in Lexington, I was texting him and like, dude, he showed up at my townhome, and like, yeah, and I had a pistol on. I always kept my pistol like, because I don't know who's going, answering the door and all that. So I always kept my pistol like on my nightstand or with me, like wherever I go in the house. And like he saw that and he was like, "Dude, like, man, I ain't gonna fucking kill myself." But that kind of threw some red flags up to him. So um, they, EAP. So I went to EAP and done all that, the employee assistant program where they, help you with mental health illness or with anything to that nature. So they sent me on to that, and that's kind of one of those things. If they notice something that's out of place, or if you're not acting right or something's up, they send you there without they kind of told you that you're going kind of deal. So, but yeah,
Yeah. Like pretty much like go do this or we can't clear you to come
Yeah,
back to work
yeah.
type deal.
So
I
Did
mean,
it
that's
help
good
you?
for them because they want to make sure, they want to make sure they're sending you out there in the right
Yeah.
situations as well. But yeah, like, did that
yeah,
help
dude,
though?
I mean, yeah, it helped in a way, but like it was still kind of the same bullshit. I felt like it was more paperwork than I was there, it was an hour session, and he just broke shit down and was like, all right, if you want to come back, you can, but it's up to you, kind of deal. And it's like, I left there and I was like, maybe you should tell me to come back. Like, well, you're not really. Was you even listening, or was you over there just drawing? Like, what the fuck?
Don't give soldiers a choice because we're gonna be like no.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll call
I was
you.
like,
Mhm.
whatever. But yeah, so like,
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Like, don't give me a choice when it comes to something important. Tell me to do it, or I'm not gonna fucking do
yeah.
it.
I mean, again, like my biggest thing was my anger. Like, I just, dude, I'll never forget. I put my townhome, like I snapped and I put a fucking huge ass hole in my fucking wall, like just punching it just because of my anger, man. It was just the shit I was going through.
Yeah, man, I mean, I still, even to this day, like, I still have a problem controlling my anger in situations where I feel like I'm, like, hurt or, like, um, I don't know, like, where I feel like, I don't know, where I feel, like, slighted in any situation. Like, I tend to just go off the fucking handle, bro. Like, not like I would hurt anybody, but, like, I just have to yell out my frustrations. Like, I'm a very vocal, kind of angry, too, so if I'm like motherfucking, and all of a sudden, like, as I'm getting angrier, I'm getting louder. Next thing you know, like, I live in a small town, they could probably hear my shit on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, like, I'm not gonna apologize for who the fuck I am, man. Like, because at the end of the day, like, well, it's hard enough being me. Like, I can't imagine like being close to me, being friends with me, like, but hey, it's I don't want to say like it's not our fault. Not to say that it's not an issue we shouldn't be in control of. Like, like we're all sitting here talking about, like, we need to focus that in, but like it ain't a sprint. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
It's a fucking marathon. And if you don't have the circle or the support around you to kind of like point you in that right direction, and just, I don't know, do the small things that kind of help reaffirm that you're doing good in your own, it's hard. It can get kind of tough. So, I mean, it sounds like you kind of have that support system.
Like,
that's
my
good.
thing, man, is like for the longest time I wouldn't talk. Like, I wouldn't talk to anybody, and it just built up and built up and built up. And then somebody can say something to me, and I would snap. And like, I wouldn't say I'd black out, but like I would snap on somebody, and then like, yeah, what just happened? You know what I mean? Like, dude, one of my buddies about got in a bar fight with, dude. I literally had that glass. Like, I chugged this beer because he just was starting shit, dude, and I just completely zoned out. Dude, I grabbed that beer and I about fucking hit it on his fucking head, and like, luckily some people like split us up, but like, I was just gonna fucking fuck that dude up and not give a shit, man. I mean, but again, now I talk about things. You know what I mean? Because again, if I hold it in, it just builds up, and it's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, true power to that. I mean, that's why we do what we do now. Like, or that's why we do this. Talking. It's great medicine sometimes just to air it out. And so, have you? How long you been married now?
$5 years.
How long? My bad. Within that fight, like, does your wife know everything about like this stuff you went through in Iraq and
I
stuff
talk
like
to her.
that?
Like, if she has questions, like, I'll talk to her, and again, it helps. Yeah, I
That's
can
awesome.
rock
Oh yeah.
my support. So.
what, Carl? What would be one thing that you could give? Actually, you know what? Let me pause that before I ask that question. Um, what was I gonna ask? I was gonna ask you about firefighting stuff. Like, um, Have you been around people that like within the first responder world, firefighting, EMT world that have like um, that have had those like? Because I'm sure there are situations that y'all see shit at least once a week. I'm sure y'all see stuff. Um, and like me and Kyle have talked about it before. Like, you know, we're like we sign you sign up for a basic we sign up for like a basic 4-year contract, and we could just do just that. We deploy one time or twice or 3 times, and then we have our entire life
Yeah.
to deal with it, to deal with the outcomes of how we came back bent, not broken but bent. So we have our entire life to deal with that versus first responders where like you see something on Monday and it's like holy shit, and then you're back again on Tuesday. Like how y'all how do you navigate through stuff
So,
like that?
have y'all ever heard of GBRS group? All right. So, GBRS group is it's two guys that were dev crew, SEAL Team Six, Cole Fackler and DJ Shipley, and those guys, like, I mean, obviously they're SEAL Team Six, and they've seen shit, done shit, like, you know what I mean. But I watched a video of DJ Shipley, and he talked about compartmentalization and how like you like anything bad that happens to you or whatever, like you just put it in that box and like just go, like just put it there and just leave it and just like drive on, just continue on and forget about it, or try not to let your emotions like you go back to that box and it's like, dude, what the fuck, or man, I can't believe that fucking happened, or so I guess that's our thing, is like we just kind of something happens and we kind of just it goes away. Like we don't talk about it or like talking about it. I guess to some people. Yeah. So
Oh, okay. It's kind of just like that unsaid
yeah,
thing. Like, yeah, that happened. We're gonna deal with it.
I mean, I guess that'd be the way you kind of have to do it, man. Like you got, I mean, the
yeah,
job goes on no matter what, you
yeah,
know. Like if you lose a buddy in a fire, I mean, and the house next door catches fire at the
yeah.
same time. Like, what are you gonna
And
do?
like I
You know?
and I'll never forget. I've seen a lot of fucked up shit since I've been in the fire service, but there's this one call I'll never forget till the day I die. We got dispatch. It was dispatch as an allergic reaction, and my captain at the time, I'm his engineer now, so I'm he's my boss again. But um, I'll never forget. And I don't. You see a lot of these guys who will fucking sprint as hard as they can. You know what I mean? Like to the front door, and I'm like, I move with a purpose. But this dad came up to me. He wasn't screaming, but he was just like, "Help, man! Help! Help! Help!" And I'm like, "Yeah. Okay, I'm coming." And I remember I was walking into the front door, and I'll never forget the screams, man. This mom was just like screaming, like bloody fucking murder, like screaming. And so like I just remember seeing her screaming, and like I didn't even pay attention to the little girl that was on the couch. Like I didn't even like look over there. And I immediately went to go grab the epi to inject her with the proper dosage of the epi. And dude, I remember I turned around and I saw that little girl, like, just fucking blue, dude, just dead. And I rode into the hospital breathing for her like the entire way, and like just like there's nothing we could have done. Like she fucking died. But and so like that was in April of 2020. Yeah, it was April of 2021, and like I found out I was gonna be a dad in February of 2021, and so like all this shit starts going into my head of like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like y'all know, y'all are parents too, but like just all this,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, dude, I get the chills just
and
thinking about it. Like,
that to this day, my catch and I, we kind of
like that call fucked me up for probably 2 weeks straight. Like for 2 weeks, dude, I just was like I'd come home and like, hey, can you do the dishes with it? And I'd just like sit on the couch and I'd fucking like drink a 6-pack, man, and not even like just completely like void her out, void everything out. And then finally, like she was like, hey, you know, what happened? And you know, I told her, but after telling her, it's like, and talking to people about it, like y'all now, it's just, you know, it's one of those things you just kind of part of the job kind of deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
man. It seems like you did everything you possibly could have done, man. I mean, I couldn't imagine that shit. Like from the parents' perspective, from your perspective. I mean, I just, you know, knowing damn well, like you did everything you possibly could have done.
Yeah, that's not something. I mean, I don't think anyone in their right mind could ever ask you to forget something like that, because I don't think you could ever try. But definitely, I'm glad to hear you talk about it, or you talk to your wife about it. There's something about these wives, man, like airing it out, or just, you know, having someone to air it out to. Anyway, it's something about just getting out in the air. I'm glad you found that outlet. I'm glad she's your rock for sure.
You
If
know,
you
one of those things, man. Like I worked last Thursday, dude, and we had like two deaths right there. Like, I mean, so like it's one of those things, man. It's when somebody dies, like, and like their family comes and start, and dude, it's just like it's a very hectic scene for them. But like when they're sitting there and like screaming at you to do something, and you sit there and look at them, and it's like, or sir or ma'am, like, there's nothing I can do, and like how angry they get at you and then blaming you, and it's like in your head, it's like, dude, just it, you know what I mean? He or she's in their emotions. I mean, this is something happened. I understand, but and so it's one of those things, dude. You get back on the fire truck, and it's like, dude, man, this fucking sucks. You know what I mean? Like I said, I worked Thursday. I had like DOAs Thursday, and it's like, man, this fucking blows.
do you get here's this might be a loaded question. So, do you get numb to death with them? Well, with how much you've experienced it in the last 10 years? I'm sure. Are you numb to
Yep.
death?
Like straight up. Like it's almost to a point to where, uh, like after we leave a scene, like doing like CPR for like an hour, like I mean, you just and we get on the truck and it's like, all right, what y'all want to do for dinner tonight? You know what I mean? Because it's that kind of, dude. I mean, I'm not trying to say that, but it's just that yeah, it's like
No,
that
yeah, like
mentality.
you
It's
just
like
have to.
just yeah, we do what we can, drive on. You know what I mean? Let's focus on the next one, kind of deal. Yeah,
That's nuts, man. I couldn't imagine that shit. I mean, but at the same time, like I could, because if I was in that situation, you know, I'd probably be able to adapt to that mentality, just because, like, you know, kind of like, well, when you kind of live that life
yeah,
of the mission, you know, like the mission is the mission, and you know, nothing comes before it
yeah,
when you're truly called to serve like that, and you know, and I think there's really like a special place in fucking heaven or whatever people believe for, you know, first responders and shit like that, man. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Like my brother, he's a dispatcher, so I mean, I know he's already dealt with quite a bit in the 2 years he's been doing that. But again, like I couldn't imagine putting myself in that situation again. I just don't think
yeah.
I'm built for it anymore emotionally.
You never know, dude. You never know, because
Yeah, when shit happens, I still find myself pretty calm, cool, and collected. Like when it's
Yeah.
like real shit, like when
No,
really
yeah.
something is going on, it's like, yo, I'm the one you need to fucking look at right now, because no one, like everyone's gonna be like, what did you do? I'm like, you fucking sit down, you come out here, let's all get the fuck out of here.
I remember when I was in nursing school. Like we were doing a rotation at a senior living center or something like that, and the code blue alarm goes off, and of course like we all just like run to it, like we're running just so we can get our hands on this person, which is like hindsight 2020. It's a little crazy, but we're getting there, and someone's like, and this chick's like, so who wants to take over compressions? I'm like, fucking me. And I was like, fucking. And there's something about like feeling a grown man's like rib break as you're doing chest compressions, and you're just like, holy fuck. Cool. And they're like, Casey, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. Hey, grab those scissors. Like as I'm like, grab the scissors out of my pocket and start cutting her shirt off, like because the paramedics are about to get here. Like it's insane.
And y'all don't think bad about me, okay? But my buddy, man, like he got promoted this past go around, but like we worked together at Engine 3, and if we got dispatched to a cardiac arrest, man, like we would literally sit there and have a competition of chest compressions, like straight up, and like they'd hook up to the monitor, like you can literally see the fucking heart rate, and like they'll tell you like stop, check the pulse. You check, it's like no pulse, like dude, man, like you keep going again, it's like yeah, I can make that line move faster than you, G. Let's go. You know what I mean? It's like, and we would like sit there and have competitions. I know that sounds bad, but it's like at the heat of the moment kind of feeling. You know? Yeah.
Doing everything you can.
It's a coping mechanism. As you know, I get it. We get it. As fucked up as it sounds,
yeah.
It's a coping mechanism.
But I'm sure everyone listening to this, I'm sure they're right there with you, man. They get it. Hopefully. Otherwise, they're listening to the wrong show.
Yeah.
Hey, Cardwell, I got to ask you real quick. If you could give any service members, well, I'll give this a two-part question just because you're a first responder. If you could give any service member getting out of the military right now any advice, what would it be? That's the first one. And then the second question, what advice would you give to young firefighters now?
The first part, I'd be like, if you get out and you are dead set on doing something, then fucking go do it. Like, don't sit and be like, well, I think I want to do this or I think I want to do that. No, it's like, if you're getting out, have a reason you're getting out, or it's like, hey, I want to go get my bachelor's and go be a project manager for this construction company. It's like, well, fucking go do it. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I got out of the Army, I was like, I'm going to be a fucking fireman. I'm going to do everything in my power to be a fucking fireman. And so, yeah, that's my advice. It's like, get out and go do something. No matter what it is, just go do something. Keep your mind occupied. Yeah.
Hit the ground running.
The second part, what I tell young firefighters is like, firefighters, teachers, police officers, like we don't get paid shit. And we had these young guys and girls that would come in and recruit school, and they'll get their first paycheck, and they're like, dude, fuck this. I can't live off this. And it's like, dude, if you're going to be a firefighter, a police officer, a paramedic, whatever, you don't do it for the money. I promise you I don't do it for the money. Bro, I'll tell you this. When I got out, I got hired at Lexington. When I saw my first paycheck, I was like, dude, this is what I made in the Army. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Like, and then, nothing's changed. Yeah, and then, I got hired on that.
Like, I already know how to live off this, man. I can live off dog shit. I love it.
I saw my there, and I'm like, dude, I was like, this is what I'm talking about, man. And I'm like, these people are bitching about money. I'm like, look at this pay. You know what I mean? Like, but again, it's like, I don't do it for the money. The guys I work with don't do it for the money. So do it for the right reasons. Don't. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen guys even I went to after they're like, fuck this. I ain't getting paid nothing. It's like, and fucking get out of here, dude. Nobody wants you here.
Well, how did you not know what the pay scale was before you signed up?
I'm telling you, man. Like, yeah. Yeah.
I can Google that shit right now. I'm like,
yeah,
not for me. Seems like a lot for a little. But but I don't have that calling. Like you said, like if you're doing what you
Yeah,
love and that's what you want to
exactly.
do, it ain't about the
Exactly.
money.
You're right.
Never about the money.
Yeah, dude.
I love
Like,
this shit. We don't get paid a
hey,
penny.
you love what you do, then fucking just keep going, dude. Drive on.
Hell yeah, dude. Carl, I mean, Kyle, unless you got any other questions, I appreciate you coming on and like sharing your story and connecting with us on your firefighting stuff. It's definitely an eye opener for sure about the stuff you've been through and sharing those experiences. So I appreciate that. I'm happy you're at where you're at. You actually chased something, got after it, got it, and
Yeah.
you know, wife and kid. Still got that damn accent.
Yeah.
That's cool as shit.
Dude, I'm telling
You
you,
know.
hey, I'm
I
telling
wish
you,
I
I'm
had
glad
that.
y'all
I
had me
don't.
on here. I really enjoyed it, guys, man. I miss seeing all y'all, man. Dude, I tell everybody, dude, I fucking miss heavy company, man. Like those days down in Texas, dude. I mean, those were some of the best times right there, bro.
Yeah, that was the
I
best.
missed Fort Hood, dude. Them good old days for sure. Fort Hood sucks, but it is what you make out of it.
Yeah,
We had a good group of guys, man, and a lot. To prove how good those guys are. I mean, like I'd say 90% of our guests so far have been those guys. With the full intention of having more. I mean, I want to talk to Moreno. I want to talk to all the guys from anybody that wants to get on. But I mean, like ultimately, I know it was good to have you on too because we kind of wanted to springboard into other like with that first responders and kind of have more first responders on to talk with them too. So I know like that'll kind of help bring the audiences together a little bit, which would be great because I know there's probably a lot of veteran firefighters as well. I mean, like just any first responders too, man. We'd love to hear your stories. We'd love to get you on. We'd love to let you tell your piece and I mean, shit.
And again, man, like I
I love
said,
this
like
shit.
first responders, man, like me being in the army and deployed and all that, but there's a lot of guys and girls. I'll say that. Sorry, I want to get canceled. But like they'll go, and they'll get on the truck and like they'll run their first call, and it's like the worst thing they have ever seen in their life, or they ain't never seen nothing like that before, and it's just like they that mental health issue starts kicking in, and I mean, you can tell something, and so for us, they're pushing like huge, like mental health. Like we got peer support, like after like a bad call, you know what I mean? Like peer support's immediately like available. I mean, like the other night they had 4 people killed in a car crash. I mean, just it's one of those things. Like there's always somebody there to listen. You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to talk. That's the biggest thing. It's like, just tell them how you feel, or just say what's on your mind. Like, if you're angry about something, then tell me why you're angry, and I'll listen, and we can resolve it from there. That's when I got promoted last year. You know, the first thing I immediately thought about was Orban and Followers and like their leadership skills. And if like tomorrow I'm riding in charge, and like I'll tell the guy straight up, like I don't give a fuck about the patient. I don't give a fuck about anything else except making sure you go home to your wife and kid, making sure you go home to your wife and kid. Nothing else. That's all I care about. And and that is like my mentality. Like leadership is huge for me. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm like the greatest at all, but like I'm gonna put my guys' needs and wants before my own. And yeah, there's some guys in the fire, department officers who are not like that, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so yeah,
Well, shit, man. Again, man, thank you so much for coming
Oh, yeah.
and chatting with us, dude. We look forward to having you on again soon and just keeping up with you and staying in touch. We appreciate you listening. Appreciate you coming on again. And that's for everybody else, man. We appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you guys constantly
Don't hang up.
sharing and supporting. Boughton's got something else.
No, I'm saying like when you stop the record. I was telling Carl not to hang up the call.
Mug.
Yeah, just keep it.
All right, guys. God bless. Good night.